Yeah. Go ahead. Come on, West. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Look, I keep it low to the T. UPK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother way. Tell them get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. Ain't one of us here breach. Nigga, come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. Ain't one of us here preach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. Go ahead. The shit is too easy. I'm on gold, but they don't believe me. You know I'm winning with the team. Screaming Vinny, bitch. Hear them devils screaming out bloody murder. I'm about to close the curtain. On my grind, bitch, I'm working. Sorry, all them lies, it ain't working. You niggas weak, they be churching. I'm a West nigga, that's for certain. When they cross the line, I'ma back up and I'ma hit his ass with this virus. And I come through 300 strong, 144 Leonidas. All my niggas, we eating. I'm in this bitch with the itis. Say, all y'all do the sweet. Jay Island do the sweet. The nigga made the wrong move, he ain't make his ass out the lead. He ain't one of us hit the lead. He ain't one of us here preach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Go ahead. I keep it low to the T. UPK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother wave. Tell them get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. Ain't one of us here breach. Nigga, come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. Ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat.
You see this look that's on my face, bitch, I'm for real with it. I hit the streets, put on my cleats, was in the field with it. You soft as cotton, just an actor, Uncle Phil with it. And then my targets on the move, but I can still hit it. Hey, I speak true cause it's necessary. Color Jack revolutionary. Cold on them like January. Commander General is a visionary. Soul food, no sweets. Your preacher man, he's sweet. Matter of fact, he weak. It's wartime for peace. Think you hard, nigga, you ain't. Fuck with us, nigga, you can't. You smart cars, we pace. We form up in ranks. We buy the bad, this rap shit. All black, no bright shit. Real life, no cap, bitch. Fall on them, that's cap shit.
I keep it low to the T. UPK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother wave. Tell them get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. Ain't one of us here breach. Nigga, come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. Ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. Go ahead. Fuck, man. No cover, no nigga came back down. I thought I'd let you know that I was gone, but I never lived so back now. I thought I'd let you know this brotherhood is a weapon, and I never let it go, never let it free. Shit I kill for my niggas. I thought I'd let you know. No cover, no nigga came back down. I thought I'd let you know that I was gone, but I never left. Come back now. I thought I'd let you know this brotherhood is a weapon, and I never let it go, never let it free. Shit I kill for my niggas. I thought I'd let you know. Yeah, you niggas know I'm about to bring the heat, right? Shit I used to leave the street light. Hey, now I still keep the heat tight. Now nigga all gold like a green light. They say 144, nigga, you can get it. Ain't gotta tell me twice. Tryna stack a couple grand, get on some land, and I put us on our feet in the field with the Warriors. And you know a nigga glorious, but we still keep it cheat on. Keep them tools on depot. Might hit him with the Rico. Hey, hit the nigga with the Rico. Hey, said they fucked up the rap game. What you looking at me for? So I know they can't stand me. That's why I keep a Glock handy. Mike sippin' Lil Brandy. While I'm chillin' with the family. Tell him a real nigga landed. Dressing all black like a bandit. Bitch, I ain't come to play. Bitch, I came to do damage. No cover, no nigga came back down. I thought I'd let you know that I was gone, but I never lived. Come back now. I thought I'd let you know this brotherhood is a weapon, And I never let it go, never let it free. Shit I kill for my niggas. I thought I'd let you know. No coward, no nigga came back down. I thought I'd let you know that I was gone, but I never left from back now. I thought I'd let you know this brotherhood is a weapon, and I never let it go, never let it free. Shit I kill for my niggas. I thought I'd let you know. Back now we fall, back now we fall. Ain't Babylon fall, ain't Babylon fall. You know the path a nigga walk, nigga raised up, now I'm all in. And all I ever wanted was the wind and the big body bends. Now I'm gone in the wind, trying to stack a couple in. Now let's get it in, yeah, let's get it in. About to make the shit tremble. 144, the real. Yeah. About to turn it up a left. He the bitch up like lava. And it probably bring a whole out. And all that we feel is our fire. And I'm headed for the top dollars. And they ain't never gonna stop me. Never gonna stop. No coward, no nigga came back down. I thought I'd let you know that I was gone, but I never left. Go back now. I thought I'd let you know this brotherhood is a weapon, and I never let it go, never let it free. Shit I kill for my niggas. I thought I'd let you know. No coward, no nigga came back down. I thought I'd let you know that I was gone, but I never left. Go back now. I thought I'd let you know this brotherhood is a weapon, and I never let it go, never let it free. Shit I kill for my niggas. I thought I'd let you know. Got no time to play, ain't no other way.
All right, let's get started. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, Israel, to the brothers. Yahweh Shem Yahshua to all you sisters. Yahweh Shemal Atham Bashem Yahushai. Police Officer 50 YAHANNA, under Commanding General YAHANNA. And we are the I.S.U.P.K, which was started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. All right, under Commanding General YAHANNA. Tonight is Friday night Lashawan Kodash class, teaching blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans their original language, teaching them the Hebrew, the Lashawan Kodash, not the Yiddish, not that bastard language that they speak over in the land of Israel today. Those people who are the fake Jews, known as the Ashkenaz, they speak Yiddish, they speak a different dialect of Hebrew that is not the original Hebrew. All right. We're teaching the language of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right. That's every Friday night in the I.S.U.P.K. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the videos. Check out our Facebook page, our YouTube page, No Cowards Canada. All right. Again, this is the Hebrew class. And we're teaching our people their original language. All right. In this school, we're teaching blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to come back to their culture, to put away the culture of the oppressor, to put away the culture of the people that enslaved us, the people that conquered us, that oppress us, and we're going to get back to our original language, all right? So every Friday night, we start off going over the alphabet. All right, in the Lashawan Kodash, the Hebrew, we have 22 characters. It's different from the English language. English language just has letters. In the Hebrew, each of our characters means something. All right, each of the characters are an image of something. All right, so we're going to start off with that. Quick shout out to everybody tuned in. What's going on, Baraki Allah? Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatah. Everything to Wab. Come. Today we're gonna go over Psalms 94. All right, we're gonna do a quick review like we do each class. We're just gonna go over our alphabet. We're gonna get up our prepositions and our possessives. We'll put that up on the board, and then we'll go through some sentences. All right, we'll break it down in the Hebrew, how to spell it out in the Hebrew, how to pronounce it in the Hebrew, and what it translates into and how it translates into the English. All right, so we'll just be working on some sentences while we go over some scripture. All right, and we're going to start off with our review. So the 22 characters of the alphabet in the Hebrew, we have a A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha. If you're just tuning in from home, you can grab a sheet of paper. Just practice writing it out. It doesn't hurt to practice. The scriptures say to rehearse righteous acts. Right? We got to put work into learning this language just like you would anything. All right? So we got Abba, Gada, Ha, Wa, Za, Ka, Sa, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, I, Pa, Taza, Kwa, Ra, Sha, and Atha. All right, those are the 22 characters of our language. All right, we got A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Ka, Ta, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, I, Pa, Taza, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Tha. All right. If you're tuning in for the first time, on this review, I'm going over it a little fast. You can check out if you want to learn some of the basics of Hebrew. Just scroll through our channel. You'll see a lot of different Hebrew classes up on our channel. Definitely check that out. Take a look if you're a beginner. Again, if you're tuning in for the first time, you can also write this down, right? These are how all the characters look. All right. This is my handwriting, so it's not perfect. Right? Could have took my time, a little more time with some of these. Right? But you can definitely make out what each character is. And make sure to practice that, review it. All right. And practice sounding it out. All right. So in Hebrew, we always read right to left. It's different from English. All right. And this is how each character sounds. All right. In order. And you'll see where the English language and a lot of pretty much every language on earth, they get a lot of their characters, symbols, pronunciations all from our language. Right? You can see You can see if you speak English, for example, right? Ba, ga, da, ha. You can see where these characters come from, the la. Even the la in the Lashon Kodash looks just like an L in English, right? Ma, it looks like an upside down M. Na, you got an upside down N, right? The za, it's the same character in the English, right? Some of these characters are very similar. And so you can see where the English gets some of its characters from. So we got pa to za. Qua, ra, sha, and a tha. All right. Again, up here we have the characters. Down here we have the pronunciation. All right. So this is a ah. The name of this character is an alap. It's the picture of an ox, of an ox's head. Right. And we pronounce it ah. Right. And then you have the bayath. And you have a ba. That's the pronunciation. So when you're reading these characters, these are the sounds you would make. A, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ka, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, ta, za, qua, ra, sha, tha. All right. And then something else that's important to learn too, it's also important to learn the Assyrian Hebrew, because a lot of our manuscripts are written in that language because of different captivities that the children of Israel went into, such as the Babylonian captivity. And so just like you've seen blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans speaking English, patois, French, Creole, Spanish, right? These different languages we picked up from being oppressed, being put into slavery, is no different from thousands of years ago, 2,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, when we went in different captivities. All right. You start to pick up the language of the people or the place that you grow up in, possibly the place you're born into. And it doesn't take long to pick up that language. It only takes 1 or 2 generations. It's not something that's hard to imagine, where people start speaking different languages. All right, so those are our 22 characters. All right, today we're focusing more on sentences. Practicing how sentences are formed. How to identify root words, which is very important. Picking up root words, what tense we're reading something in, so we can determine who we're speaking about, the context of what's being said. All right, there's different characters in the Hebrew that they use so that they're able to understand what's being communicated or what's being read. All right. So again, today we're going into Psalms chapter 94. We're going to get up our prepositions on the board, because these are very important when you want to start learning how to read sentences, how to read and speak and say sentences. we can get these down and memorize them, we'll be on a very good way. We'll be on a very far path to start speaking Hebrew. All right. So we got prepositions. And what these are is anytime you see these characters at the beginning of a word, they have a meaning. All right, so if you see an "a" at the beginning of a word, it means I or I am. If you have a "ba," it means in. You see the character "da," it means do. You see the character "ha," it means the. We have a "wa," "ya," "ka," "la," "ma," "sha," and a "tha." All right. These are all of our prepositions. All right. So we have a "wa," which means and. And you'll see as you start to read out different sentences in the Hebrew, you'll start to identify these words all over the place. All right. Ya means it or he. Ka is as or like. La is to or for. We have a ma, means of or from. Sha is whom, which, or pertaining to. And then the last one is a tha, which means thou or thee. All right. And that's more Old English. Today we would say you. All right. So now we got possessives. We have a ya, ya, ka, wa, ha, na, wa. We have kam, we have kan, ma, and a na. All right. And so the difference with these are these you'll find at the end of a word. All right. You'll notice that, for example, you have the same character, ya and a ya, or a ka and a ka. When you see these at the end of a word versus the beginning of a word, they have different meanings. Okay? They do not mean the same thing. So it's important to identify if it's at the beginning of a word or the end of a word. All right. So ya is my, ka is your or you, wa is he or his, ha is her, no, wa is our, kam is you all, masculine. Put masculine plural. Right? We're speaking about multiple people. Khan is feminine plural. All right, when we're speaking to a group of women, and then ma and na both mean there. Ma is masculine, and there is feminine. All right. Make this a little smaller. Khan was masculine plural. Yeah, Khan is feminine plural. And then we have ma and na, which is there, masculine and feminine. All right. These are very important to know, important to practice if you want to start speaking Hebrew. All right. Again, make sure you write those down if you don't have them. This is something that is necessary for you to have in your notes if you're trying to learn Hebrew. It's very important to have these. And then it's also important to learn how to understand which tense you're speaking in. Past tense, future tense, present tense. All right? Just like you learn in the English language. All right, so what I'm going to pull up for today's class, we're going to be in the book of Psalms, chapter 94. That's where we'll be reading out of today. I'm going to be using the Blue Letter Bible app. A lot of brothers in the I.S.U.P.K use this application. It's a good app to use. All right. So I'm going to get my screen up so we can see the Hebrew. We're going to take a look at the Assyrian. All right, so the first verse we're going to break down. All, if you could practice reading in the Hebrew for me, Baba Kasha. We're going to start. Come, Most High in Christ. We're going to start in the book of Psalms 94, and we're going to start at verse 5. All right, you should be able to see that. Can you see that okay? All right, Most High in Christ. All right, go ahead and read that when you want, and I'll start getting the Hebrew up on the board.
So it reads, I.M.U.K, Yahweh, Yadaka, Awa, Wanata, Salakia, Wanaka, Latak, Ya'ainawa.
Ya'ainawa. Ya'ainwa. Ya'ainwa.
Kawakan, Ya'ainwa.
Most High in Christ. Well done, word. Your Hebrew's getting real good. And you're reading it a lot faster than I can get it down.
What odd one?
Come. So I got I.M.U.K, Yahweh, Yada, Kawa. Oh, I almost skipped over a word. Then we got Wana, wanna call, Thaka. Then we got Ya'ainwa, I'll get a verse 5. We're starting in verse 5. Ya'ainwa. And let's see what we got up here. All right, so we just read through the Assyrian, and what we got up on the board is the Hebrew. All right, Yahweh. Again, in the Hebrew, we read right to left. Everything we do is right to left, is different from English. And we have something called connectors. These connectors let us know how to pronounce each character. Right? Raquel, you want to try reading that one more time now in the Hebrew?
Karawakan, I.M.U.K, Yahweh, Wanakal, Thaka, Ya'ainwa.
God, Most High in Christ. Most High in Christ, right? So we just put in a little practice. You keep putting in work like Barak Allah, you'll start reading the Hebrew no problem. Right? We got I.M.U.K, Yahweh, Wana, Kal, Thaka, Ya'ainwa. All right? And we're going to break this down in the English?
Salak Yadwan.
Khan.
You're missing a word.
Oh, Khan. That's my mistake. I started writing that down, and I thought I was writing the last word out. Salakia. Got a whole word we're missing. Missed Yada. Yadaka. Yadakawa. Salakia for that. Yadakawa. And then we had Wanakal. Thaka. And then that last word was Ya'ainwa. Ya'ainwa. There we go. Salakia. So that's all of Psalms 94 and verse 5. All right, Braki Allah, you want to try that again? One more time?
I'm a ka. Yahweh. Yadaka. Wa.
Yadakawa.
Yadakawa.
Right? That ka and the a little tricky. You just say ka. All right?
Yadakawa.
Ka.
Wanak.
Oh, Salaki, did I miss a character there?
Khan, you miss a law.
Ka. We have Wanakal. The ka and the law connect. Wanakal. Salaki, keep going.
Wanakal to ka. Ya'ainwa.
Ya'ainwa. Most High in Christ. Most High in Christ. All right, let's break this down in the English. I'm a ka Yahweh. Yadakawa. Wanakal thaka. Ya'ainwa. Do you see any words up there that are familiar to you?
Yahweh.
Most High in Christ. So what we do, when we translate it in the UPK, we say Lord. You can also say the Most High. All right? When we read through the Bible, when you see Lord in capitals, if I'm not mistaken, every time you see Lord in capitals, it's the name of the Most High. It's Yahweh. All right? They would have the Assyrian like this. It would be Yah, Ha, Wa. Right? The fancy way of saying it today, they call that the Tetragrammaton. Right? This is the Assyrian. So you have the Yah character, which is this. Yah, Ha, Ha, Wa, Wa, Ha. Yahweh. Those are the 4 characters in the Assyrian. This is what you see all over the scriptures. So when you read the English, it will say Lord in all capitals. I'm pretty sure you'll see God with a capital G a couple times. All right. And then you might see 2 or 3 times it'll actually say Jehovah with a J. But when you see that in the original language, or the original language it was scribed in or written down as, this is what you would see. You would see Yahweh. All right. And you'll see some tablets that exist where some of the oldest tablets, it will have the proper name of the Most High in the Hebrew, Yahweh, Yahweh. And because this connects, you say Yahweh. All right. So that's that. Are there any other words that you see here?
A few prepositions.
Come, Most High in Christ. And that's what I was hoping you would start picking up. So go ahead and call them out for me. Let's do the prepositions first.
I.M.A.K is a ka.
Yadaka, this one.
La, the first word.
I.M.A.K. You're saying ka?
Ka is a possessive.
Ka, this would be a possessive. Which means what?
Your.
Most High in Christ. Keep going.
Slovakia.
Are you taking a look at the Blue Letter Bible?
Kana wakan.
Most High in Christ. And that's what you should do, right? When we're it's very UPK not to guess, right? We don't want to guess. We want to be sure, right? We want to make sure. We don't want to guess. If you don't know the definition of a word, look up the definition, right? Read it out. And so, for anybody tuning in, what Brachial is doing, when you look at the Blue Letter Bible, it will actually show you the root words, right? That's an easy way of breaking down the root words itself. I'll get that back up on the screen. All right, so if you take a look at the Blue Letter Bible, let me back up a little or zoom out a little. So what they have broken down here is they have the Strong's, something called the Strong's definition. And that Strong's definition is what the word is broken down from the Hebrew to the English, right? And so when you look on that Strong's definition, you'll see something, at least on this application. See if I got that popped up. Yeah. So you'll see something called root word, right? It says root word, it says etymology, and it has it spelt out in the Assyrian, right? So this word is daka. If I back up, they have the word here, daka, or Sulaki. Which word are we on? We're on I.M.K. So that first word we're breaking down is I.M.K. If I click on the word, you'll see the root word, right? And they have a I'm, a I, a ma, and a ma, right? That's the root word of I.M.K. You see it spelt at the top. It's just it's a I'm. Right? You can see the I and the ma. And so when you look up on what we have here, you see this 3-letter word here, 3-character word. You see the ayin, which is a root. And then beside it, we have that character. We have a possessive. It's at the end of a root word, right? And this word ayin means people. Right? These prepositions and possessives, they give you the context of what you're reading, right? They give you the context of the sentence, what belongs to who we're speaking about, who we're trying to identify, right? And that's how we make sense of all these sentences, okay? That's how the Hebrew is. They have root words. They have root words in all their sentences. And then they have prepositions. They have possessives. They have characters to show if it's in past tense, future tense, right? And that's how we understand what we're reading. Okay, so just with a little practice, just practicing these prepositions and possessives, we keep going over these, right? Eventually, like brachiologist did, he'll be able to identify these different words very easy, right? So Salakia, Trooper, you want to keep going, breaking it down?
Wakan. Ya the kawa. I think the ya is a preposition and the y is a possessive.
Most High in Christ. And what do they mean?
He.
Which one is he?
Both of them.
Most High in Christ. Now, if you were to use your logic, if you see he twice, how do you think we would write that down in English?
They.
Most High in Christ. Most High in Christ. I see you paying attention, taking good notes. Right? You see he. A good way of translating that into English is just saying they. Right? And when we read through this scripture in the English, most likely the translators put they. All right? So we got a root word here. How about this word over here?
The y and the ka.
Most High in Christ. What does wa mean at the
And.
beginning of a word?
And.
Most High in Christ. And the ka at the end of the word?
Your.
Your. All right. And then this last word down here, YAHANNA.
I think the wa,
Khan.
which means he.
Khan. How about the ya? Take a look at the Blue Letter Bible app. You have your own open.
Wakan.
Take a look at the Blue Letter Bible app.
I think the ya as well, which means he.
Most High in Christ. All right, you'll be able to find that root word, which is ayin. All right. So ayin is to put down. We got two more root words in there. We have nakoltha.
So lock out the one.
Come.
The isn't it to afflict?
Come, that's another word you can use. To put someone down or to afflict.
Con.
You'll see a lot. When you look up that definition, you'll probably see a good 5 or 6 uses. And they usually put in order the word that's used most frequently in the English first. All right, so we got put down, we got afflict. Nakal. Possession. Another word is property. And then we have the ka. The ka, the root word to crush. All right. Again, on this one word here too, we see he and he. Right? Now, when you're reading through sentences, a lot of times, most of the time, you're gonna see the same preposition and possessive at the beginning and end of the words in the same sentence because it's all the same context, right? Unless in the sentence they start speaking about somebody different, right? So I'll pull out, I'll do the English. I'll pull my Bible out. We're in Psalms chapter 94 and verse 5. So the English says, they break in pieces thy people, O Lord, and afflict thine heritage. Right? So Barak Allah said it good. Right? When you see the he and the he, a lot of times in English they'll translate it to they. The start of verse 5 says they break, right? They crush, they break. But they break in pieces thy people. Right? Again, context. We have the ka. What is the context? Your, right? The Lord's, your people. Yahweh's people. Right? These give us context to what we're reading. Right? Your possession, your property, the Most High's property. And they, the people we're speaking about, they afflict the Most High's people. Right? So that's Psalms 94 and verse 5. Let's jump down to the next verse. You got any questions on that, Brachiala?
Lot on.
Come. All right, let's keep going. Okay. I'm going to go to verse 6. Let me pull that up on the Blue Letter Bible. So what I'd like you to do, Barak Ya Allah, I'd like you to read the Hebrew for me, and then I want to see you translate the sentence on your own, all right?
Khan.
Let's see how good you do. I think you can definitely get it. All right, so go ahead and read the Hebrew when you want to start.
Khan. Alamana. Wagar. Yaragal. Wayata Wamayam. Yarataza Kawa.
Most High in Christ. Yara Tazak Wa. Yara Tazakwa. All right. You got your Hargowa. Give me one moment to get all this down. All right. So I'd like you to try to get all the prepositions you see, all the possessives, all the root words. Go ahead and use that Blue Letter Bible app. All right. In the Hebrew, we got Alamana, Wagar, Yahargoa, Wayatha, Wamyam, Yara, Tazakwa. All right. That's how we'd say that in the Hebrew. Let's go ahead and try to break this down.
Khan. Wagar, the Y is preposition.
Okay.
It means and.
Okay.
Um, Yahar Gawa,
Okay.
the Ya and the Wa. Well, the Ya is a preposition, the Y is possessive.
Okay.
It means he, both of them.
Most High in Christ.
Um, wa waya taplam yam wa, and the end, the wa is a preposition, the ma is possessive. So like the wa is a preposition,
Okay.
and, your ra tazak the wa are both preposition and possessive. It's he.
Now I'm gonna give you one clue. All right. What does Akia mean?
Brothers.
Akim is brothers, right? So what you'll see is a lot of times when we're making a word plural, right? We have ak, which is singular, and then we have akyam, right? So this one word that you had here, the end here is actually plural.
Wakan.
All right. Something that's really important when you're breaking it down. I would always start with the root word. All right. Because when you identify that root word, you're going to see a whole bunch of characters surrounding it. All right. Because sometimes, too, when you're in a different tense, right, you might see, for example, let's say this word here, you have ya, har, go wa. Sometimes you would see a wa after the second character, right? And that's changing the tense that it's written in. So if you find that root word first, you can start to see, you'll start seeing a bunch of characters that look at a place. And then those characters you'll start to see repeat themselves in all the different words that we read. Right? You'll start to identify the tenses, whether something's plural, masculine, feminine. Right? So I would always start with the root word.
Wakan.
You got the definitions of any of the root words?
Gar is stranger.
Come on, Most High in Christ. Gar, you'll see that word a lot.
Give me one moment, Ado.
Come.
stand and walk with the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, and we don't care who we got to come up against. You ain't standing before this truth. You understand? We done took them all on and gonna continue to take them all on.
Surrounded by Edomites, lost a lot of truth to this tree of life. Open up the book just to see I'm right. Reminiscing on my ancestors, on those ships who had to plead for life. Took us to a place where ain't never safe there. Poisoning our foods and put our children up in daycare. Fresh out of slavery, still thinking that they care. Guns in the community, children can't play there. Brothers still brainwashed, we died for that same cost. Took away our history, believing that we ain't lost. Brother, I'm an Israelite, sin is like kryptonite. Brothers won't pray, no, they rob a link of shit tonight. Praises to the Most High, I ain't like most guys. Eyes on the future, but I learned from a boat ride. Tribe of Benjamin, inherited on both sides. Background Jamaican, mistreated and I know why. I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites.
God, everything to up?
Khan.
God. All right, let's keep going.
Harag is to slay.
You said Harag?
Harag.
Harag. I got you. You say to slay?
Khan.
Come.
According to the Blue Letter Bible, Alamana is widow.
Come.
And Yatowam is fatherless.
Fatherless, Khan.
And Ratazak is murder.
Khan, Most High curse. Khan, well done. I think we got everything there. We got Alamana, which is widow. Wagar, which is and stranger. He and he. Right? We might see in the English it say they. Same as down here. We got slay and fatherless plural. All right. You might see the word orphans. And then we have murder. Right? They murder. So let's see what this says. Let's see how the King James translators translated this verse. We got Psalms 94 and verse 6. And it reads, they slay the widow and the stranger and murder the fatherless. All right. So that's the translation of Psalms 94 and verse 6. Well done. All right. You got any questions on that verse?
A lot of one.
All right. Most High Chris. So we're going to jump down. We're going to jump down to verse 14. And go Psalms 94 and verse 14. I think we got time to get one more verse in. How are we doing for time? Oh, we still got time. Maybe we'll get two more verses in. All right, so we're going Psalms 94, verse 14. So pull that up on the blue letter. All right, you can go ahead and read that in the Hebrew.
Wakan.
And I'll try to get this up quick.
Kai. La. Yatash.
Come.
Yahweh. Imawa. Wanak Latawa. Wanakaltawa. La. Yaizaba. Yaiza.
Ya-Izab. Most High in Christ. All right, again, well done. That was very good. Right, you start to see why it's important to study the Assyrian as well.
Wakan.
Right, we see the Assyrian all over. Both the wall, la'ah. And you'll notice too, a lot of these words that we're reading, some of these words we use daily, right? I know in my household, we use a lot of these words every day. And when you read through the different scriptures, some of these words will start to look very familiar. All right. So I'm just going to get the connectors up and then we'll translate it into English. We got Yahweh, I.M.O.A, wanna call, Thawa, La'ah, Ya, Izab. All right. Do you want to try and translate it into the English too?
Wakan.
All right. You did a good job with that one, with that last verse. You already know what to do. All right. So this is Psalms 94, verse 14 in the Hebrew. In the Hebrew, it says, Kaya, La Tash, La Tash, Yahweh, I.M.O.A, Wanakalthawa, La'ah, Ya Izab. All right. That's how you would say that in the Hebrew. Go ahead and translate that into English. All right.
La is not.
God. Oh, Salakia. Let me pull my board up. Put my screen up. All
Salaki,
right. So, Khan, what's that?
is the first law connected to Yatash?
It is a different word. If I'm not mistaken, let me pull it up in the Assyrian. I think they have a dash. They have la'ah, and then they have a dash. Yatash. All right, so it is a different word. Ooh.
So it's not one word, it's two words, correct?
Salaki. In the Assyrian, they have it as one word. They put a dash in between the word. But Salaki, let me put it up one more time. Yeah, they have it as one word.
Khan Wakan.
They just have a dash separating. They have a dash separating the word. When we translate it to the English, we're gonna see two different words, right? We know that word la'ah means not or no, right? But it's just letting you know, like it's just this whole sentence. It's the same thought, right? You have la'ah yatash. It's the same thought. It's just helping with the context of the word.
What does the
Right?
dash mean?
So I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. With the Assyrian, they have dashes. They got different dots all over the place. Um, they speak a whole different dialect of Hebrew. Um, I'm not studied on all the different dots they have and what they all mean. Salakia.
Khan Wakan.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm only worried about the characters for the Assyrian because if I can identify the characters, then I can translate it into our language, right? If I'm not mistaken, there's a book on the I.S.U.P.K website. If you want to study more of the Assyrian, here it's a good book to order. But for now, I'm just focused on the Hebrew. I'm focused on the Lashuan Kodash.
Khan Wakan.
But yeah, let's I think we're gonna end after this verse. Let's try to get through this verse. Try to get through this verse and then we'll end the class there, all right?
Khan Wakan.
So off the top, you see any words that look familiar? I know you saw la'ah. Oh, Salaki. Let me get my board up.
Salaka is.
God.
Oh, no, never mind at all.
We got something up wrong. We got Yahweh, I'm a Wah. Wanna call the Wah, la'ah, Ya Izab.
Wanakaltawa.
Go ahead.
There's two preposition. There's wa is a preposition, and the wa at the end is a possessive.
Con.
So like the first wa means and.
Oh, Salakia. Con. You have wa at the beginning of the word. That's always and.
Ya the ya is a preposition, means he.
Con.
There's the word Yahweh.
Con.
I'm Salakia. I am a wa. The wa is possessive,
Con.
means his. And
Con.
I am wa is people.
Con. Most High in Christ. Right? Even those small words, if you see three characters, sometimes they got prepositions and possessives, right?
Kana wakan. Wanakaltawa. The Nakal is a possession or a heritage.
Con.
Izab is forsake.
Con. And we got one more. Oh, Slacky, we got two more.
According to the Bible dictionary, Kaya is for.
Con.
And Yatash is a cast off.
Cast off. Con. Let's read through it in the English and see how that looks, all right? So we got Psalms 94 and verse 14 in the King James Version, the KJV 1611. It says, "For the Lord will not cast off his people, neither will he forsake his inheritance." Come. Right, we have the word heritage here. They got in the KJV the word inheritance. All right, we put in cast off, which is well done. Right? For not cast off, he will not cast off his people. Right? Yahweh will not cast off his people. And he will not forsake his inheritance. Right? So that's well done. All right, that's Psalms 94 and verse 14. That's the correct way to translate it in the Hebrew. All right, that's how we translate it to the English. And again, today we were just practicing some prepositions and possessives, practicing sentence structure, right? We went over a little plural. We saw a couple words that had masculine plural in it. Right? There's a couple words which you'll see throughout the Hebrew. When you see he and he as a preposition and possessives, a lot of the times they use the word they, or we would use the word they in the English. All right, these are good things to go over and practice. All right, so with that, we're going to end the class for Friday's night, Lashawan Kodash. Let's clap it up. Before you sign out, or before you end the class, make sure you sign out. I'll get the sign-in links before we end the class. We're going to give the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. All right, one moment. So these are the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves of the world. They need transportation. The teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find it in Numbers 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 to 10. Ma'ashra means tenth in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests is not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. We have the Feast of Dedication coming up, also known as Hanukkah in the Hebrew, which is on the 25th day of the 9th month by the space of 8 days, which in today's calendar will be this month, Sunday, the 28th of November, for 8 days. And you can read about that in the book of Maccabees, 1 Maccabees chapter 4, verses 52 to verses 61. All right, with that said, men of Israel, I majim, which means stand. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, I majim Shabbat, I majim, Barak, Yah Bashim Yah Shai Barak Atham, Yad Yamatah, Sar Akwathian. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters, men of Israel. I majim Shabbat, I majim, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Alathan Bashim Yah Shai, Yad Yamatah. Class dismissed.
all my Israelites. I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites.
Kwam Yasha Allah, sons of the power. Rise from the ghetto when Satan want us devoured. The seal of the Lord ain't found in church towers. Never dying on my knees like no coward. Wanna be an Israelite, you gon' need more than fringes. You gon' need to show you approve and get in them scriptures. Oh, I forgot to mention, traumatized from the lynching. Homicide, we the victim. Homicide ain't the ending. Kids with PTSD, suffering symptoms. Never getting treatment, something he gotta sleep with. Stockholm syndrome so long, it ain't a secret. That's why I die for them brothers I'm facing east with. I'm an Israelite, practice better get it right. Visions of my enemies, death flow through my dreams at night. If your mind ain't dead, then we don't dream of life. Reporting live from hell, home of Christians and Edomites.
I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites. I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites.
While they play the sidelines, comfortable on benches. Catch me on the front lines, putting work in trenches. Making sure our election, preparing for Armageddon. Mastering this profession of prophesying these lessons. Protecting our adolescents and answering all their questions. Teaching the love, their reflection. No matter what the complexion, we got a common connection. A part of God's hand selection. A shot at the resurrection. Through us achieving perfection. But to give life takes sacrifice. Battle demons every fight. Short days and long nights. Less sleep and more fights. More wisdom, more strife. Telling everybody that they wrong and you're right. I'm an Israelite, blood of an Israelite. I ride for my